In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to make a graph in Google Sheets. And we'll look at a few of the manipulations we can do in the options and just look at some of the flexibility of the program. So the first thing you're obviously going to need is some data. I just have some random dates and amounts here. And so what you're going to do is select the data that you want to make a graph with. And you're just going to click Insert up here. And we're going to select Chart. And that's going to generate a chart with our data. And basically, you can just start with whatever. You don't even really have to decide what you want when you're making the selection from the menu above. And we can manipulate every aspect of this chart using the options on the right-hand side. And so it really depends, what you want to do. So, often what you're going to end up wanting to do is just changing, how the chart looks, or maybe the chart type itself. So, we have a line graph here, and maybe we actually want a bar graph or another type of chart. So we can obviously change anything that we want. For the most part, all you have to do is click the element on the chart that you want to change. For instance, I just clicked the line, and that gives us the ability to change the color. Maybe we want a red line. There's also, we could add borders, we could add points. There's a lot of different manipulations you can do just on a simple line graph. So for example, I'll add some points. We can change the size of them. We can change what the points look like. Maybe we want stars, and maybe we want a dotted line instead of a thick line. So, obviously there's a ton of things we can do here, and it would be impossible for me to go over all of them in this video. But I'm just going to look at a few of the common ones that I think that you might want. And if you have anything specific, just let me know in the comments, and I can help you. I can help you out with that. So I think one thing that people often want to do is actually change the chart type itself. And so what we're going to do, you can see there's these two different menus. There's Customize, that's customizing the chart itself. And then there's Setup, which is actually some of our default chart options. And I think this is one of the most common things people are going to do. You're going to insert your chart, you're going to have a line graph, and you're going to say, that's not what I want. I want a different type of chart. So we're going to go over here on the right under Chart Type. We're going to click Line Chart. And we can scroll through here and see all the different options that we have. A lot of these you're probably never really going to use for the most part. The most common charts are typically some form of line chart. Maybe you put the shading underneath with a stacked area chart. Maybe you have multiple lines of data, and then you would have one would be above the other one. There's a histogram, which is just frequency. And I think, really typically, at least in the business world, and, for school projects and for most practical things, you're going to be looking at line charts and bar charts. Sorry, I should actually say column charts, bar across. People don't use those that often. People like pie charts. I think they're overused, and, it depends on your data. It obviously isn't going to work for the data that we have. And we can talk about data types in a different video. So I'm just going to switch over here to a column chart. This is just the default one. Obviously, there's the stacked column chart. And the difference between these two being, if I had two series of data, this one puts one series on top of the other, whereas this one puts one series next to the other one. And then the 100% stack column chart is again for multiple data, and basically it makes each bar equal to 100%. So each of your stacks will be some portion of that 100%. And that can be a good way to display data, although it is quite distortive. And so you have to be careful using that one. We can talk about that another time. So again, we're going to have obviously the same sort of options that we had before. And, I think one of the things on this chart in particular is that the dates look very crowded. And so, of course, we're going to have some options. We can change the slant, so we can make them parallel in terms of how the labels actually slant. We can change the direction of them. It cleans it up a little bit, but I think it's still a little bit distortive. In this situation, we may want to change the font or change the italicize or bold, that type of thing. Sometimes you can add a little bit of visibility there. So there's definitely a lot of options here. Obviously colors, usually you're not going to do colors on your labels. You want to keep charts focused on the data itself. You really want to display what you are trying to show the person that you're giving the chart to. And that's about the data. You're not trying to make it look funny or weird. Usually simple is better. I think that that's something that's true in investment banking, in school projects. It's always true. Just show the data. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't put images on the back of your charts. Just keep it to the point. Show a relationship. Explain to people why you're showing your data. That's really how you make good charts. One thing that is actually quite nice, and you can see, you may not be able to see in the video, I'm not sure, but I actually just clicked one bar instead of clicking the whole series. And so I can actually, it doesn't actually matter which one I click, which can be helpful. So I've just changed that there. And I'm going to end this video here. I think I might just get into the specific chart in the next video, and I think I might do the 3 different types of column charts. People call them bar charts like I did earlier in the video, but they're actually column charts. So make sure you check that one out and subscribe to the channel. It's always helpful. It helps me a lot trying to build this to be a good resource for you guys.